everyone, Bethany here and welcome to my channel. Today is the first official Embossing Folder Friday of 2023 and I am going to play by the seat of my pants. I have a kind of an idea of what I'm trying to do, but I'm not 100% sure if it's going to work. So we are just going to start playing. I'm going to start with the Geo Diamonds Altenew 3D embossing folder, and I am going to go ahead and run this nice light blue in through my Cuttlebug, and I will be right back. And now that I've run it through my Cuttlebug, I absolutely love the 3D effect that this geometric or Geo Diamonds embossing folder creates. So now this is where I see if I screw it up or not. I am going to use the spotlight from Maker Forte, and I'm going to take the larger spotlight, try to keep it as centered as possible, and I'm going to go ahead and tape from behind using my mint tape from scrapbook.com. Some mint tape on two sides. I feel confident that that should be enough to hold it. I'll let you know shortly. But I'm also going to go ahead and put this on the Brutus Monroe stick and stamp mat, just because I know there's going to be a slight amount of lifting as I'm doing this blending technique. So I'm trying to give myself the greatest amount of chance and hope for success here. And I'm going to go for a tone-on-tone lift, so I am starting with the Icy Mist, and then I will work my way to the Muscle Car. I'm just going to ink blend a little bit off, and then a lot on. And it's mostly just going to create a highlight in this spotlight circle. And I'm not pushing super deep, so majority of the ink will just land on the top of the embossing folder impressions. And I'm going to just keep going around until I feel like I have enough of the Icy Mist down. Changing the direction of my strokes a little bit because some will catch other parts. And then I'm going to go with the Muscle Car, and it's a deeper blue. So I am just going to tap a little on the edge, and then we're going to deepen the edging on this. So it becomes basically a silhouette look. Not a silhouette look, it becomes a vignette look, where the Icy Mist is focused in the middle and the Muscle Car is focused on the edges. Since this is an anything goes challenge, I am going to use a stamp from the Altenew Penned Rose stamp sets, and I am going to stamp out the lovely rose using that Muscle Car. I had another idea, and I decided to scratch it because the embossing folder itself was too deep for the impression of what I was trying to add to the embossing portion. So we are improvising now. Like I said, this is completely by the seat of my pants, making it up as I go, which is okay. So using that Muscle Car on the yellow cardstock, I'm going to do one more go at it because it's a little light in the center. There we go, perfect. Now here's where another crazy idea comes in. I will be using the Tinsel embossing powder Marine Blue by Recollections, and I'm just going to generously put some blue down. And notice I didn't use any embossing anti-static powder. Heating up from behind, using the lowest heat setting first until the majority of the embossing powder is melted, and then heating from the front as soon as possible. And then once that is set, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my rows. Once I have the rows cut out, I am going to go ahead and open up my Metallic Accents watercolors from Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to use a little bit bigger brush than is provided. And I'm going to be unconventional and just spray right onto my mat, to my glass mat, dipping a little bit. I'm going to add some blue hues to the edges. And I'm not wetting the brush a whole lot just because I want the coloring to be more of highlight shadow than all around. So you'll notice I'm not putting a whole lot into it right now. It's more like I'm making the marine colored embossing powder accented a little bit better. And if I have too much color, just bring some of it back out by adding more water. And that's the risk you take with a fatter brush. You don't have as much control over the detail. But that's the nice thing about watercolor is you're not looking for perfect lines, you're looking for hints and suggestions. So that's why I like watercolors, shimmers. They're all kind of a distraction, but they're an artistic interpretation of a stamp or a die or artwork or whatever. So now it becomes this pretty little highlight. Now I'm going to get the majority of that blue off and using a microfiber to brush it off. Going to grab the lightest yellow first. And now I'm going to bring in a little shimmer texture. And it's okay if the blue and yellow blend together. I don't mind. You lose a little bit of that shadow. That's okay. Softens it a little bit. And now towards the center, I'm just going to do an all around swirl. I'm not going for specific petals. I'm letting all of those shadows and highlights blend together a little bit more. And I think it brings the focal point to the center of the rose a little nicer. All right. And that's how to quickly add a little bit of highlight and shadow using some watercolors. Now let's go ahead and assemble the card. Now assembling should be pretty fast and easy, but I have a card base that I cut out of the same cardstock, and I'm just going to leave it plain, and all I'm going to do is add the Barely Art Precision Craft Glue, putting a generous layer of glue down. And word to the wise, I did rip the paper a little bit coming off of the Brutus Monroe sticky mat. It is extra sticky because I've only used it a handful of times so far. So if you have a newer mat, I would suggest roughing it up and de-sticking it, because you can see right here there's a little bit of ripping that happens, which I'm going to cover up gracefully with my extra bits here, but just for future reference. I'm going to let this dry under a block, and once that has dried enough for my liking, I'm going to go ahead and add my other bits. I stamped out the Hey Gorgeous from the Maker Forte Be in Vogue stamp set. If it's still in stock, I will put a link down below. And I'm just going to go ahead and add glue. Let me figure out my placement first. I'm going to just go ahead and put a generous amount of glue there. Make that the focal point. And then you'll see it's just a hair above center. And then the rose itself will hide that little rip that has taken over the edge of the circle. And because, again, this is embossing folder gluing, you want to put some weight and pressure to make sure that it actually adheres to where you want. So again, putting it under the block. And once that is dry enough, I'm going to go ahead and add one last little bit of fun, which are the Crown Jewels by Maker Forte. This color is called the April Showers. I'm just going to pour a few into the cap. And they're basically yellow and blue put together, which I think is absolutely adorable. And just going to add a little bit of glue to the back, and I'm going to try to keep in the raised parts of the embossing folder so they don't sink or fall off easily. And you'll see I'm using the excess of the glue from before when I dribbled earlier, which is proving to be a little difficult. But I will make it work somehow. I'm actually not going to cluster my gems. I'm just going to place them a little wider and sporadic. But I really like these gems. I don't know if she's going to keep selling them, but they are very beautiful in person. And if she still has some left in the shop, I will link them down below. I'm going to place one right in the middle of the rose, and I'm going to do the same for the middle of the O. One more to finish off the look. Alright, I love the subtleness, the fun. I like how this turned out. The embossing folder really shines. You don't notice the rips down here too much. But yeah, I definitely like this look. I'm glad I decided to switch my game plan because I feel like this is so much cuter than what I was originally planning. So thank you all for joining me today. Don't forget to check down below for any links I may have. If you shop any of the crafty places I do, I will have affiliate links, and it costs you nothing to shop the same places I like to shop, but your clicking those links helps support our family, which is greatly appreciated. Speaking of support, we do have a sale happening on our own shop because hopefully very soon we will be launching on Etsy, and we need to clear out some of our inventory as quickly as possible to get ourselves prepared to be on Etsy. And also, I will have links down below for my husband's channel and his shop as well. So don't forget to support there. And for all of you newbies, thank you for joining us. I do appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Apologies for my voice today. I am on day 12 of recovering from a little sore throat, cough. Nothing terribly exciting, just sore. So that's why my voice is going in and out while filming. But thank you for all of your support, and I hope you are having a wonderful new year already, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Don't forget to find the joy in your day, and happy making. Bye! When I'm using non-regular, I don't know what I mean to say. When I'm using glitter and then heating up from behind, I'm going to put a nice generous layer letter. Yeah. I probably have a clog from the back side. Great. Thank goodness I have Gloria's glue topper to help me clear out clogs. There it is. There's the clog. Get it off. Hopefully now it'll work. It's sticking together. Great. Just what you want. Gets a little difficult to add gems when the gems have glue on the top. It throws off this picker poker. Hot Mess Express today. Oh my gosh. Can't even hold this without dropping it. My picker part is so full of glue that it's not doing what I want it to do. And now my glue won't even squeeze. Fun days. Struggle bus today. Don't forget to check down the Yahoo!